Ready, I'm recording now. So today we're going to be working on some, like it's pretty easy, it's not like a grammar topic, but it's going to be something related to what we call as daily life English. Now, I'm going to present here a picture, and I would like you to help me to read it, and we are going to see if we understand everything what it's here or no. Ready? So, my dear, who wants to start? Ivancho, could you please start, brother, until the first period? From the beginning until the first period. Read what you can see.
English and difficult as your thing. It is a matter of practicing what you learn.
Okay, thank you so much. Yearly, continue, my dear.
Ay, qué pena, teacher. Desde
Please.
people gotta be aware, okay,
Aware. Mhm.
aware of the importance of using the language every day.
Mhm, mhm. Very good. Danny, continue.
If you wanna be fluent, you got, gotta find someone to talk with, but entirely in English.
Okay. And the final part, Lina.
If I was you, I would take every chance to use the language, whether in casual and formal situations.
Good, excellent. Whether in casual and formal situations. Bueno, this text is a little bit strange, no? We have a lot of different things that we might say like, yeah, what is the meaning of that? I don't understand. Now you like, we are going to have different particles here or different words or different expressions that doesn't sound so clear, no? So I'm going to read it, and then I want you to tell me if you have problems with any of these expressions or not, if you think that it's everything is clear. So it says, English ain't difficult as you'll think. It is a matter of practicing what you learn. People gotta be aware of the importance of using the language every day. If you wanna be fluent, you gotta find someone to talk with, but entirely in English. If I was you, I would take every chance to use the language, whether in casual and formal situations, right? Guys, do you have any problems to understand the message, or is completely clear for you? Is there any expression that you don't understand, or you understood everything?
Teacher, I don't understand. The
Which
first,
part?
the first part. English and difficult as I all? I
As
don't know.
y'all?
I all. Okay. What is this I all?
Exactly. What is all of these expressions, no? So here, y'all, it's only one, but actually we have a lot of different expressions which are not clear, no? For example, the first one is ain't. What's the meaning of ain't?
Is a negative.
Is a negative form of the verb to be. So in that case, when I say English ain't, we know that is a negative form of isn't, aren't, or I'm not. I can say you ain't, I ain't, she ain't. It's like the informal way, like the slang way to say verb to be plus not. Cierto? Instead, pardon, instead of using I am not, she is not, we are not, we're going to have ain't for all the pronouns, para todos los pronombres. And we finish the problem, right? So we don't have to memorize all the is and are. No, with ain't, we just are going to use for all the pronouns and it's the same. But of course, it's not formal. I cannot use ain't when I am in my job, or I cannot use ain't when I am with no sé, with my in my job or in the school. I cannot use ain't because it is pretty informal, right? I have to use what is correct. Also, the same happens when we have y'all. Anybody knows what is the meaning of y'all?
Todos ustedes.
Exactly. It's a short form, y'all. It's going to be a short form for saying you all. Similar to when we say in Spanish, para que, that we form like pa qué. Yeah. Yes. So in that case, making it, it's gonna be form you all, it's gonna form y'all. Yes, it's a contraction, ready? That it's pre-used when I say y'all people, you know, like como todos ustedes, you all, right? So when we continue, so it says English ain't difficult as you'll think. It is a matter of practicing what you learn. Here you can find that you, it's replaced sometimes for ya, right? So when they say ya don't, you learn. The pronunciation, it's going to modify the way that some people speak or write English, no? Take into account that this is not the normal English. I mean, this is not the English that we learn in the classroom, no? This is not the English that we have in the academy, no? Let's continue. People gotta be aware of the importance of using language every day. Is there any expression confusing or you have it clear?
It's clear, teacher.
Okay, okay. Well, anyway, the expression that we can see here that it's not pretty common is the expression gotta. Yeah. What is the meaning of gotta, or what is the use of gotta?
Have got.
I've got to, right? Which I put together and I make it sound like gotta. Yeah. So gotta, right? So which is an obligation. No? So the people gotta be aware of the importance of using the language every day. If you wanna, we know that when wanna, it's more common. What is the meaning of wanna?
And two.
1, 2, very good, excellent. So if you want to be fluent, you gotta find, you know, have got to, gotta find someone to talk with voluntarily in English. If I was you, for example, here we have a mistake, no? You know that when we have unreal English, when I have second conditional, the idea is not to use was, but to use were. The expression is, if I were you. ¿Cierto? Si yo fuera tú, if I were you. Taking into account that it's unreal English, but sometimes the people don't respect those rules and they do it the easy way, that is, if I was you, right? So in that case, guys, or in this text, you are going to see a demonstration of what we talk or what we know as slang English, you know, slang English, which is a combination between the normal standard English, the other one, it's called the standard English, yes, and it's going to be the way that the people speak more commonly in their daily life. Yeah, of course, if I am going to the United States, the person in the United States is not going to speak so slow as we do. It's not going to use all the auxiliaries, it's not going to use all the pronouns, it's not going to use all the rules. No, it happens the same as when we speak in Spanish, for example, with these contractions, you know, are things that we use automatically, but they are not part of the standard language. We have a slang English and the other one is standard English, which is standard English is the English of the classroom, the English of the academy, no? So the language that we learn in classroom, right? Sometimes, you know, I try to include some of the expressions of slang, but most commonly we try to learn the standard English because that is the English which is taught, which is learned around the world. This slang, it's going to be very, very regionalistic, no? For example, here in Colombia, if you speak to a teenager in Bogota, it's not the same that if you speak to a teenager in Medellin, or it's not the same as if you speak a teenager in Pasto or something like that. The slang English is very regionalistic, so that's why it is not taught in the world. It's just every culture, every community has their own slang, no? So this is some of the most popular slang, but every community in the United States or around the world, in England, in Jamaica, they have their own slang, right? So what we have
Teacher, for example, in Bogota is ñero, in Medellin is tea.
Exactly. For example, those variations are going to happen equally in English. In Spanish, in Bogota, for example, we say like dinero, de no sé qué, and in Medellin it's a different one, no? Danea, ta, ta, ta. Things like, for example, when the paisa said like, ay, tan charro, right? That in other regions, we have other different expressions, no? So that's the idea. the slang English, it's going to work in function of something that it's called the linguistic economy. You know, the linguistic economy, linguistic economy, it's simply using the minimal quantity of words for expressing the biggest quantity of information. For example, reducing the sounds in order to express the same idea, but using less words. For example, y'all, for example, gotta, for example, wanna. All of those are reductions that we have as linguistic economy, right? The standard English, no, the standard English is going to work like completely with all the words, with all the auxiliaries, with everything, no? Entonces, we are going to have two different kinds of English, right? The slang English is the English that doesn't care about the minimal mistakes. If the person says, perdóname, wait, with another color. If a person said, she don't understand. If the person says, she don't understand, do you think that is correct or incorrect?
Incorrect, teacher.
Incorrect, right? Because the auxiliary, it's not the one that corresponds. When I say she, we know that it's the auxiliary incorrect, so we use she doesn't understand, right? But that is important in the standard English because it's careful with the form of the language. But the slang English, no, it doesn't care about the auxiliary has to be the correct one. No, it's not important for that. So the first part is that I want to motivate you to use the language that you can. I mean, if you make mistakes in the language when we are in a informal context, it's not going to be important. The people is going to understand anyway. So that's it's not a big deal. So that's why I said, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Right? Don't be afraid. It means no tengan miedo. Don't be afraid of speaking because if you make minimal mistakes, it's not going to be a problem. For example, in the everyday English. Of course, if we are talking in an important meeting in the job or in a presentation in school or in a formal legal context, of course, we're going to have to be more careful with the language that we use. But in general life, in general terms, don't be afraid. Use the language. Lose yourself. Déjenlo fluir, right? Traten de dejar pues salir esa competencia que tienen, right? Without fear, sin miedo, no fear, just that it doesn't matter if you make a couple of mistakes. Si cometen un par de errores, it's not going to be a big deal, right? Bueno, so guys, all of this was to say that we are going to have always the two different kinds of language, the slang language and the standard language. The slang, as I told you, it's the one that you can see in the streets, in the daily life of the people, in the chats with the family, in the social media. That's the slang that you can see. But today we're going to see two different elements of the standard English that is going to be key, like clue. It's going to be very important in the maintenance of the standard English. Ready? So the first part, let's see. It's going to be the incredibly big vocabulary that we have. Here we have a couple of questions that we are going to start reading, and we're going to check on the vocabulary that we have here, right? Danny, could you please help me to read the first question?
Have you ever been heartbroken?
Have you ever been heartbroken? Anybody can, do you understand the question? What is the meaning of have you ever been heartbroken?
Yes, teacher. ¿Te han roto el corazón alguna vez?
Exactly, good. Claro que en este caso realmente el verbo romper no está. Dice que si alguna vez has estado y luego está heartbroken. ¿Qué significará heartbroken? O sea, la idea sí es la que dijo Ivancho, pero ¿qué significará when I say heartbroken? What do you think? ¿Qué creen?
Profe, eso suena a corazón partido.
Exacto, Dani, suena a corazón partido, pero es un adjetivo. Entonces, cuando digo heartbroken, es como, ok, de corazón partido significa como despechado, ¿no? So, like, sad for love, right? Pero entonces aquí, ¿qué hicieron? Unieron dos palabras, they match two words. Yes, if the word doesn't exist, si la palabra no existe, we can create it, yeah, using two different words, no? But of course, there are some pre-established words, like for example, heartbroken, which means, of course, con el corazón roto, o sea, despechado. ¿Mm? Guys, answer, have you ever been heartbroken? Yes or no? Have you ever been heartbroken?
Of course, teacher.
Of course, todo el mundo, yes,
Yes,
everyone.
teacher. Yes, teacher.
Yearly David dice, of course, y todos hemos estado, like, of course, everybody has been heartbroken. Yeah, muy bien. Now, the next question, my dear Patricia, could you please read the next question?
Do you think those feelings were windswept?
Exactly. Do you think that those feelings were windswept? Hey, what is the meaning of windswept? Again, I am going to have a word that is produced putting two words together. So in that case, windswept. Windswept. What is the meaning of windswept?
Teacher, wind es como viento y sweat es como sudar, ¿no?
Ese es swept con T, pero swept es el pasado de sweep. Is the past
Azotado
tense.
por el viento.
More or less, when I say windswept, it means that something that it was retired over the wind, right? Like como que se lo lleva el viento, like windswept. Yes. So, for example, when I say, do you think those feelings were windswept? It means se los llevó el viento, like, ya pasaron o no. Yeah, windswept, of course, when I say, no, ¿qué pasó con eso? Nah, se lo llevó el viento, right? So in that case, when I say windswept, it means something that it's already passed, right? So what do you think, girls? You told me that you have been heartbroken. Me dijeron que sí habían estado alguna vez despechadas, heartbroken, but I want to know if those feelings were windswept or they are still here.
No, profe, a los míos los pisó un carro de marranos.
O sea, Dani dice, no, those feelings are windswept. Ya se los llevó, ya por acá nothing, ya completely forgotten. ¿No? Muy bien, excellent. Okay, so in that case, that's another different word that you can create using two different words, ¿no? Muy bien. Doris, can you read the question number 3? I am not sure if she has microphone. I think she has no microphone. Okay, doesn't matter. Lina, could you please help me with the third question, honey?
How did you get back to be high-spirited?
Exactly. So here it's how did you get back? Como regresaste to be, and then here the word is high-spirited. Esa palabra high-spirited está como raro. What do you think?
Ahí es como alto de espíritu, o sea, como motivado, como recuperado.
Hey, very good. Excellent, Ivancho. So when I say high-spirited, it means my spirit high. So it means like good, in peace, calm, happy, like to have peace and to be happy on your spirit, no? So that's the one. Very good. Iván, ¿cómo, digamos, cómo descubriste la palabra? Just how did you discover the word?
Because I know the word poor spirit, so and I suppose
Poor-spirited?
yes, teacher.
And what is the meaning of poor-spirited, bro?
O deprimido.
Exactly. Good. That's it. So in this case, as you can see, and now as Ivan complemented, we're going to have words with the word spirited, which are going to have a description, yes, of the state, no? Because in this case, we're going to have something that are called compound, especially in this case, adjectives. Compound adjectives are going to be adjectives, of course, characteristics that are created based on two different words. The first part and the second part. The first part and the second part. The first part and the second part, right? We're going to have different possibilities to talk about compound adjective, many different possibilities of creation. For example, the first one, let's see here. The first one, it's going to be, wait, acá. It's going to be an adjective plus noun plus ed, ¿no? For example, high-spirited, que ya la vimos, an adjective, o sea, una característica, and then a noun, o sea, un sustantivo, plus ed. Absent-minded, por ejemplo, ¿qué será absent-minded? Come on. What do you think? Absent-minded?
Como la mente perdida.
O sea, es cuando alguien está, ¿qué?
¿Despistado?
Despistado, distraído, ¿cierto? Muy bien, very good. Y lo pueden unir, lo pueden inferir uniendo las dos partes, ¿no? Entonces, esa es la característica de esos adjetivos, que se pueden entender no porque sepamos el adjetivo, sino porque, pues, si entiendo una parte y entiendo la otra, más o menos voy a poder inferir cuál es el significado del sustantivo, ¿no? Por ejemplo, soft-hearted, soft-hearted. Soft-hearted, what's the meaning of that?
O un corazón blando, no sé, algo así.
Exactly, good. No, so in that case, it's a person that has a good heart, no? But has a soft heart, no? It means like benevolent, kind, all of that, right? So that's the first possibility, using an adjective and using a noun and using the particle ed, right? Also, I can say, like, for example, an adverb plus the past participle, right? For example, much, well, sad, highly, widely, and a characteristic. For example, much loved, very much loved. Well dressed. What is the meaning of well dressed? Es fácil, well dressed.
O bien vestido.
Bien vestido, very good. Widely respected. Widely, it means wide, es como amplio, ¿no? Entonces, when I say a widely respected, what do you think is widely respected?
Como muy respetado.
Exactly, ampliamente respetado, right? It means like a lot of people respect the person. Highly acclaimed, lo mismo, altamente aclamado, ¿no? So, for example, well known. This is muy común, well known. What's the meaning of well known?
Muy conocido.
Muy conocido.
Muy conocido, muy bien. Ese sí es un poco más literal el sentido, ¿cierto? Entonces, other different words that we can create, right? And then the last one, it's going to be a creation like based on adjective, adverb, or a noun plus the present participle form, o sea, ing. Cuando hablo de present participle, I'm talking about a gerund, yes? And it's going to have the possibility to have an adjective, an adverb, or a noun. Por ejemplo, easygoing. Bueno, ustedes ya saben que es easygoing, ¿no? Like relax, like easy to call, right? Perdón. Forward thinking, forward es hacia adelante, ¿cierto? Like hacia el frente. O sea, ¿qué será ese de forward thinking? Forward thinking, está muy raro. What is the meaning of that?
Como pensar correctamente.
Almost. Más que correctamente es
Prevenir.
más allá, o sea que en realidad sí es un poco como prevenir, como prever, ¿cierto? When I go forward thinking es como que piensa a futuro, ¿cierto? Que piensa un poquito más allá, que ve hacia el futuro. Trying to prevent, obviamente es, de cierta forma es un poco como prevenir, ¿cierto? O, for example, thought provoking. Thought, you know, que son pensamientos, you know, are pensamientos. So what it would be the meaning of thought provoking? What is the meaning of thought provoking? Thought, pensamientos, and provoke, pues provoke, right? So what would be thought provoking?
Pensamientos provocativos.
Bueno, más no tanto
Profe,
por
que
ese
es
lado.
subliminal, profe, que es subliminal.
No, por ese lado. Pero, o sea, sí por ese lado, pero es un objeto, ¿cierto? O a una persona o alguna vez un objeto que me provoca pensamiento, ¿cierto? O sea, como que me hace pensar, ¿cierto? Entonces, no necesariamente de ese estilo, sino que me hace pensar, que me provoca pensamientos, es decir, que me da, me crea ideas en la cabeza. ¿Listo? Entonces, como se dan cuenta, son a veces palabras que no existen y tengo que crear a partir de unir dos palabritas, ¿cierto? Por ejemplo, no existía la palabra semáforo, ¿cierto? ¿Y cómo la crearon? ¿Qué hicieron?
Traffic lights.
Exacto. Entonces cogieron la palabra traffic, yes, and then lights, ¿cierto? Y unieron para crear la palabra traffic lights, right? Que son semáforos. Entonces, en realidad estas palabras compuestas se usan generalmente porque no hay una palabra o no está la palabra correcta o que quieren crear otro sinónimo de digamos, de algo que existía, pero no sabían cómo expresarlo. Empezaron a crear este tipo de palabras compuestas, especialmente ahorita estamos viendo, pues, los adjetivos compuestos. ¿Listo? Más o menos, bueno, es more like a matter of use, es más como una cuestión de uso que realmente de aprenderlos porque son muchísimos y pues obviamente muy extensos, right? Entonces es como que a lo que voy es simplemente tratar de entenderlos, ¿ready? Uniendo las dos partes. Es como el mensaje, ¿no? Porque pues tratar de aprenderlos de memoria, it's almost impossible, it's pretty complicated. So I wouldn't recommend it, no lo recomendaría tratar de aprenderlos de memoria, right? So, for example, here, I need to sleep at least 6 hours, so I feel well rested. What's the meaning of well rested?
Descansar más o descansar mejor.
Pero recuerda que es un adjetivo, Dani. When I say to feel well rested.
Recuperado.
Como bien descansado, como recuperado, right? That would be the idea. Muy bien, excellent, right? What about if I have this one here? He looks like the best dressed person here. He looks like the best dressed person here.
El mejor vestido.
El mejor vestido.
Obviamente el mejor vestido. Entonces siguen siendo características, ¿cierto? There's no problem, very good, easily, right? That's it. He has always wanted to be more soft-hearted, más amable, más, you know, empathic. Yes, and that's it, that's it. ¿Listo? Entonces, guys, we're going to have the possibility to create this kind of adjectives, sorry, partly from two different words, no? For example, here we're going to have, well, a lot. I just have to show you some. So, for example, these cookies are made at home. If it's something that it's made at home, what is the adjective that you could use for describing the cookies? Para decir caseras. Por ahí debe estar. Búsquenlo entre la...
Homemade.
Muy bien. Homemade, right? So in that case, homemade, right? So in that case, it's only one word, ready? So you said, ¿cómo se dice casero? Yeah, homemade, right? Or for example, if I want to express that the person
Teacher,
is
or handmade is not possible.
Pero handmade, ¿a qué se refiere, Ivancho? What is the difference? ¿Cuál será la diferencia entre
No es-
homemade y handmade?
Hechas a mano.
Ajá. Entonces, una cosa es hecho a mano, la otra cosa es casero. pero ves que parte del mismo punto, ¿cierto? Una cosa es hechas a mano, handmade, las otras serían homemade, que hace parte de como que, bueno, están hechas en casa, ¿cierto? What about if I want to describe that this paper is written with the hands? ¿Es un qué? ¿Cómo lo describiría? It's
Handwriting.
handwritten, no? So it's handwritten. Okay, good, very good. So handwritten, it means something that it was written in a hand, right? Or for example, this fossil was recently found, recently found. How could you describe that one? Recently found. What could be the adjective that you could use from the list?
Newfound.
Exactly, no? So it's pretty logical, pretty almost literal. When I say, okay, the fossil was or is a newfound fossil, no? So describing the quality of the fossil, right? So in this case, guys, as I told you, well, more than learning these adjectives by memory or by heart, I would like you to have the consciousness to say, yeah, this is a compound word. What is the meaning of this word? Like, I can divide the word. Can I understand the word by dividing it or not? Yes. So if it's possible to divide it, or if you see, for example, that they have hyphen es como el guión, yes? So you know that it's a compound word, right? That possibly it's going to be understood by context, only understanding the first part and the second part, and that's it. ¿Listo? Bueno, basically that's the first part here in which I wanted to show you the vocabulary about like slang kind of English, you know? So in those adjectives are going to be like well created, or they are going to be spontaneously created, right? Because as I told you, it's just having the two different words that I need and putting it together, right? Now, when we talk about here, standard English, there is going to be an element that it's probably the most important one when I am talking about standard English, and it's the subject and verb agreement. What is the meaning of that? It means that for a singular subject, I have to use a singular verb, and for a plural subject, I have to use a plural verb. ¿Cierto? Algo que sabemos desde hace mucho. Por ejemplo, for example, if I say Yearly and Lina, ¿cuál será la opción correcta que va después? Have or has.
Have.
¿Cierto? Porque es un sustantivo, un sujeto plural. Por lo tanto, va con el verbo plural, which is have, right? But if I say only Ivan, yes, Ivan, same options, Ivan have or Ivan has. Which one?
Has.
Has.
Ivan has, of course, no? So it's a matter of basically logic, no? So for a singular object, is a subject, you have a singular verb. For a singular, for a plural or subject, you have a plural verb, no? Not always, but in some cases, no? For example, if I am using modal verbs, doesn't matter because it's the same. If I am using, let's say simple, what can I say? Modal verbs and did, for example, did, it's going to be the same, no? So I didn't, she didn't, we didn't is the same. But in some other cases, it's not going to be the same, right? What about if I say my family? My family, and I have three options. I have my family am, my family are, number three, my family is. What do you think is the correct option in this part?
Is teacher because my family is a unit. No, one unit.
Muy bien, Danny, very good. My is because my family is a group, but it's only one group, ¿no? So, sí es plural porque son varias personas, right? Pero resulta que es un solo grupo. So, no son mis familias, it's only one, my family, right? Which is a unit verb, so it's it, right? So that's why we have is, right? What about if I say my children? Same, my children is, my children am, or my children are. What do you think? Not complicado, my God. A ver, my children are, my children am, or my children is.
Are.
My children are.
Pato dice are, Ivancho dice are. ¿Sí? ¿Será que sí o no? Yes. Muy bien, guys, excellent, very good. My children are, ¿no? Esta, por ejemplo, que es una palabra que su plural es irregular, ¿cierto? No tiene S, ¿yes? Pero sabemos que children es en plural y child es uno solo. Entonces, bueno, como son ellos, they, obviamente voy a usar el are, ¿cierto? Entonces, yo sé que es un principio muy básico de, pues, para un sujeto plural va un verbo plural, pero a veces no es tan fácil de diferenciarlo. En este caso, pues bueno, muy sencillo, very good, muy bien, excellent, right? But we're going to see that we have other different subjects which are not going to be so easy to divide. Ready? Here we can have different expressions that are like portioned expressions and group expressions, you know, like collective nouns, which are going to change the perception of that. Let's see the group number one. The first one are the expressions with one. For example, no one, someone, anyone. What do you think? Singular or plural?
Singular.
Singular.
Singular, of course, no? So expressions with one, someone, anyone, no one. As it's not a person specifically, but it's like only one indeterminate subject, we're going to have singular expressions. For example, someone is, no one is, anyone is, no one has, someone has, so on, right? With the singular form, right? Also, when we have the individual expressions, like for example, every and each. What is the meaning of every?
Es como
No,
todo.
cada.
In this case, it's gonna
Cada.
be every, like cada, ¿no? So, cada, pero para denominar la totalidad del grupo, pero individualizando. Entonces, the individual expressions also, it's a plural noun, yes, but it's going to individualize every single subject. For that reason, it's going to be singular nouns, no? For example, every student in this class, every student in this class, options, is or are.
Are.
Is.
Ya vieron que ya no estaba tan fácil. Para
Is.
escuché are y alguien dijo
Is because it's singular.
Ajá.
Is.
Is good. Entonces, estoy hablando de todos los estudiantes, ¿cierto? De todos los estudiantes en este salón, pero resulta que los estoy individualizando uno por uno. For that reason, I say every student in this classroom is very responsible, right? Chan, chan, chan. Every student in this classroom is very responsible, not are. Yeah, all are when we say, for example, all students in this classroom are very responsible. Of course, very good, no? But in that case, I am individualizing the students. So for that reason, we use it as singular, no? Lo mismo pasaría con each, which also means cada, no? So that's why. And also, we're going to have the fractions with non-countable nouns. Por ejemplo, 1/3 of the time. 2/4 of the money. 1/2 of the salary. Yeah, all of these are non-countable nouns. Así que, what do you think? Singular or plural verb? What do you think? Singular or plural?
Teacher plural.
Plural? Yes. That is a plural. Anybody else?
For me, singular.
Teacher, for me is depend if is one or two.
Okay, for example, here 1/3 is singular, but 2/4 are plural, yes?
Yes, teacher. For me,
Okay, okay, okay.
I think.
Ivancho, what do you think, my brother?
I had the same trouble then. One, pues yo diría que uno, y ya ahí tengo la confusión porque me dice que que 2/4, entonces me parece que la primera sería plural y la segunda sería singular.
Okay, okay, good, very good. Listo. In this
What I'm
case,
saying with my dog.
okay, look at what we have two different kinds of fractions, the fractions with non-countable nouns and the fractions with countable nouns. Remember, the non-countable nouns can never be plural because it's non-countable noun, time. Tiempo is just one. I don't say tiempos, but I say just time, no? Just the time. The money, lo mismo, no contable. I don't say un dinero, dos dineros, tres dineros, so nothing, it's the money. And the salary, it's only one salary, so that's the thing. So in that case, it doesn't matter if it's singular or plural, always we're going to have with singular forms, ready? Like for example, is. ¿Por qué? Because every single noun, which is non-countable, que son no contables, van a ser singulares, ready? And the next one, that is fractions with countable nouns, ahí sí we're going to have to depend on if it's one or if it's plural, no? For example, when I say 1/3 of students here, yes, or 2/4 of the classes, I don't know, 2/4 of the classes, right? So in that case, I am going to have to divide it if it's singular, 1/3, or plural, 2/4 of, right? So when I say 1/3 of the students is, say, married, for example, right? Yeah, that's it. 2/4 of the classes are, I don't know, are difficult, for example, right? So in that case, with the fractions, it depends if it's countable or if it's not countable. And in the case that is countable, if it's plural or singular. But the non-countable ones always are going to be singular. So as you can see, all the ones which are white, todas las que son blancas, yes, are going to be always singular. Siempre serán singulares. ¿Listo? ¿Ready? Hasta ahí vamos bien. ¿Ready?
Yes, teacher, is clear.
Yes.
Listo, muy bien. And the one that is red, o sea, the fractions with countable nouns are going to depend if it's like 1 or 2, depending the fraction. No, that's it. Listo. And here, we are going to have collective nouns and quantifiers, right? In this case, it's gonna depend on the subject or on the noun that we have after that. Ready? If it's plural the noun, we're going to have a plural noun, a plural verb, or if it's singular the noun, it's going to be a singular verb. For example, every one of the students. Every one of the students. Or I can say, for example, some, I don't know, some time. Yes, some time, which is not countable, so is singular, ¿cierto? Majority of people, which is plural. But if I say the majority of time, the majority of the money. So depending if the noun is plural, I am going to have a plural verb. Or if the noun is singular, like for example, here, time that is not countable, I am going to have a singular verb. Ready? So with these collective nouns and the quantifiers, it depends. It depends on the expression. It depends if you want to express something plural, some plural noun, or a singular one. So guys?
Teacher, the people is or are?
The people usually is are because it's plural. In Spanish, we confuse it because we said la gente. No decimos las personas, sino la gente. Y la gente es un sustantivo colectivo que está en español, pero no está en inglés. En inglés es people para decir personas, and that's it, ¿no? Ahora, es un error común que digamos people is. ¿Yes? Para los hablantes de español es muy normal que digan people is, people is, porque hablamos, o sea, pensamos cuando decimos people no en personas, sino en gente, por eso por eso existe ese error. ¿Listo? Pero pues es un error común que igual, como les digo, no afecta a la comunicación como tal. ¿Listo, Dani?
Okay.
Okay. Bueno, my dear people, questions hasta ahí, difficulties or problems? No, all
Teacher,
fine.
clear.
Yeah, very good. De hecho, es que es un tema muy sencillo, de hecho no es el tema pues más emocionante, es un poco más hablando de vocabulario y reglas básicas, right? But well, it was something that I needed to explain for the activities, para las actividades que tienen ahí en la plataforma, ¿listo? No se preocupen, igual it was gonna be all fine, right? Bueno, my dear people, so if you have no questions in this part, I would like to ask you, for example, how many people work with you?
Teacher, do me a favor.
Yeah, Ivan, tell me.
Could you come back the picture?
Which one? Which picture, bro? The last one? This one?
No. Yes, a moment, please.
Which one? Which one?
Yes, teacher, right. Thank you.
Así, that's it. Okay, okay, good, excellent. Bueno, the question was, how many people who work with you are men, or how many people who work with you are women? How is the demographic situation at work? How is the demographic situation in the laboratory or in the companies where you work, or what? How is that?
Teacher, in my job is 5 men and 10 women.
Danny, could you please repeat? I didn't listen so right, sorry. Could you please repeat it?
In my job is 5 men and 10, yes, 10 women.
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 Mhm. Okay, for example, you could say then that the majority of my coworkers, y ahí va mi duda, are o is?
Are women.
Plural.
Our teacher.
Of
Are
course,
women.
no? Muy bien, of course. So the majority of my coworkers are women, plural, no? So that's fine. Very good, excellent. What about the other people? Do you have more women or more men as coworkers?
Teacher in my company is are 7 men and 3 women.
Oh my God. So the majority of your coworkers are men.
Yes, teacher.
Oh, good. Okay, that's great. Very good. That's something different, no? But you work in what kind of company yearly?
Sorry, teacher.
In what kind of company do you work? I forgot.
Broker.
As a stockbroker.
Sí. Yes, in a
Oh my God.
broker financiero. ¿Cómo se dice?
In a financial, yeah,
Financial
company, no?
broker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes, teacher.
Okay, got it. Very okay. So yearly is moving the money all time, right?
All
Mm.
time.
Muy bien, Annie, excellent, very good. In my case, for example, I would say that almost 3/4 of the team. Oh my God. Shoot, sorry. 3/4 of the team. And then I'm gonna say the same. Is or are women? What do you think?
Is teacher.
You think it's is? Joancho, what do you think?
Is teacher.
Is? Okay, good. In this case, we have also like a collective noun, no? So you said 3/4 of the team, but the team is not only one person, it's a lot of people, no? So in that case, 3/4 del equipo ¿es mujeres o son mujeres? What do you think? Are, no? So that's a tricky one. Esa era difícil, ¿no? Era como
Teacher, mi
tramposita, ¿no?
pregunta va ahí. ¿Ese verbo va dirigido hacia ti o hacia women?
Hacia,
Mhm.
¿hacia qué? Ah, ¿hacia team o hacia women?
Sí, porque por eso es que yo creo que muchas veces nos decimos al decidir si es is o es are.
Exactly. Well, in this case first, because, well, team, it's countable, and we have 3/4. No, remember that what we said with Yerli, that if it's plural, when it's countable, right, we're going to use a plural noun because, of course, my God, sorry. Because, of course, the noun is going to be plural. So that's why we gotta use a plural verb, right? In this case, team is a collective noun, but we are talking about countable nouns, which is women, right? So that's why it's going to be plural. But usually, of course, when we have, for example, a non-countable noun, of course, it's going to be is. It doesn't matter, no? So that's why we have to pay attention. Actually, in both, no, in team and in women, depending on what kind of fractions do you have here, no? If it's for countable or for non-countable nouns. Okay, yeah.
Ok, entiendo. Entonces, si es contable, sería are. Y si
Sí, es
es
plural, ¿no? Obvio.
contable, es sí.
Y si
Y
es-
si no, es is.
Exactly, that's the one. Ready? Bueno, my dear people, I don't have much exercise, like many exercises for this part, because it's not really didactical for exercises, but the idea in general, it was just that, no, like try to always maintain the subject and verb agreement. That is something that should be maintained, but take into account that if you make a mistake about it, it's not going to affect the communication with people, no? Take into account that the normal people don't pay attention to that. The normal people in the everyday English, they don't even use the auxiliaries, no? They make mistakes like that all the time, and you shouldn't be worried about it. You don't have to be worried about it because it's not something that they are going to pay a lot of attention to. Ready? So the important thing is that always take into account that the important thing is to transmit the message. How? Of course, optionally or hopefully, pero like ojalá, yes, hopefully with the best grammar possible. But if it's not with that, if you make 1 or 2 mistakes, it's not going to be a big deal. Nobody's going to say anything because the people actually is not going to pay a lot of attention to that. The people is trying to understand the general sentence or the general message. That's why you have to be more attentive on learning new vocabulary, on sounding more fluently, learning new expressions, ready? And not so much in the grammar part, because that is gonna be like a basis, but it's not the most important part. Okay, guys and girls, is it clear? Yeah. Questions about it, difficulties? Is it clear, the message?
Yes, teacher, clear.
It's my dear
Clear.
people, very good. Excellent.
Yes, teacher.
Bueno, déjeme terminar de grabar acá. Wait a second. Tararán.